All right. Well, class, today we're going to be talking about photosynthesis. So, photosynthesis is a scientific name for the process by which producers transform carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight into a usable energy source or food, which is called glucose, which is actually some of the same stuff that we use as consumers. We just do it differently. We eat things and we metabolize them. But plants, they photosynthesize it. So we'll just walk through the equation first because I'm going to ask you to try to memorize this equation. It's going to be one of the first scientific chemical equations you're introduced to. And I think it's a good practice just to get in the habit of memorizing some of those things. And I know you guys are all capable of doing it. So, first off, we have carbon dioxide. Look at this as like kind of instructions for baking or ingredients. Here we're talking about the ingredients. We'll talk about what we're making here in a second. So you need 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. Those are going to be combined with 6 molecules of water. And this is a chemical formula for water, and this is a chemical formula for carbon dioxide. And then those get into the plant cell and are mixed with sunlight. Sunlight's the energy source, kind of like an oven cooks a cake. And that's a good way to look at this is like, here's your ingredients for the cake on this side, and then here's the cake that we create. So the sunlight cooks those things in a sense or provides energy to rearrange those atoms and turn them into something new. So we need some sunlight. Yay. And what they create is oxygen. This is a waste product. So just like anytime you cook something at home and you have some waste lying around after you're done, that's what the oxygen is in this case. And it also then makes glucose. Now, this is a fairly large molecule compared to the other ones, but it's going to be a one single glucose molecule. It has 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen. And what's really cool is this is a balanced equation. To get into a little chemistry with you, if I was to add up all the carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen atoms on this side, they would equal the same thing on the other side. It's balanced. No matter is created, none's destroyed. It just same amount of matter on either side. All right. So next, let's just kind of walk through with this picture. And as I do this, you should be writing these things down and drawing these in because applying the drawing and writing them down is going to help you kind of remember this stuff. And you'll be using these notes to then complete a worksheet. So here we go. Sunlight, just like I said, it's coming from the sun and it's entering into the leaves of a plant. And the leaves are vitally important for this whole process. In fact, that's where photosynthesis happens, in the leaves. The sunlight is absorbed into the plant. The CO2 goes through these small little tiny holes. Imagine like little mouths all over the leaf called stomata, which is one of my favorite words in science. Stomata. So yeah, the carbon dioxide goes in through the stomata and gets into the plant that way. You also need some water. So the water goes up through these tubes. Now there's tubes that run in and around a plant. Best place to go find these, if you get a piece of celery and bite into it, you'll see all these little like tubes inside the celery. There's a really cool experiment where you can take celery and stick it into colored water and it'll change the color of the celery as those tubes suck in that colored water. So these tubes that move up into the plant are called xylem. The X makes a Z sound, xylem tubes. And that carries the water up through the roots, into the stem, and to the leaves. That carbon dioxide, sunlight, and water all meet in a place inside the plant cell. So imagine this plant cell or this leaf is made up of millions of tiny little plant cells all stuck together like bricks. And inside those tiny little plant cells are these little organelles, these tiny little structures called chloroplast. And they're filled with this green gook called chlorophyll. And that kind of works. Chlorophyll fills the chloroplast. And that chlorophyll has a magical power. It collects the sunlight and it absorbs that sunlight. And it's what gives plants their green color. So that's really kind of cool too. In fact, in the fall, when plants change colors or leaves change colors, they do that because the chlorophyll stops getting produced, and so the other colors that are in the leaf start to spring forth. So the chlorophyll is what gives it that bright green color in the spring and throughout the summer. Pine trees, of course, they have chlorophyll in their needles all year long because they're doing photosynthesis all year long. So the carbon dioxide, the water, the sunlight meet inside that thing called the chloroplast, and they all get recombined into oxygen, which the plant has to get rid of. So it kicks it back out through the stomata. So the same way the gas CO2 goes in, the oxygen goes out. And the glucose follows another set of tubes called the phloem tubes. The glucose is just flowing through the plant, folks. And that's a sugar. Glucose is a very simple sugar. And you may be like, what? The plant has sugar? Yeah, it does. If you've ever seen sap or felt sap, it's sticky like sugary water. Or syrup is made from maple tree sap, which basically you get a bunch of maple sap and you cook it down until it becomes that thick, gooey, luscious syrup that you pour in your pancakes, and it's very sweet. So yeah, plants have a sugar in them that they use to help build things with. So that glucose is taken to all the parts of the plants using the phloem tubes. That, in a nutshell, is the basic order of photosynthesis. And if you think about it, it's kind of almost opposite in some respects to what we do as humans, because we as humans take in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. Plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. So, man, plants and us, we're almost got this symbiotic relationship in that we're helping each other out by them giving us oxygen, what we need, and us giving them carbon dioxide, something that they need. So that, in a nutshell, is a process of photosynthesis. If you have any questions, feel free to email me about this type of stuff, or come see me in class or in the morning or something. I'd love to talk to you about this. But there's also a ton of great videos online where you can watch that are very kid-friendly and explain this process with better diagrams than what I'm giving you right here. So yeah, thanks for listening. Good luck with this, and let me know if you have any questions, guys.